Hello. There is a voice in this room. In fact, it's in every single one of us. It's the voice that speaks up when the picture on the wall is crooked. It's the voice that winces when the musician hits a sour note. It's a voice that whispers, after you've sent this email, you should have phrased that better. For some of us, the voice is a gentle nudge. For others, it's a relentless critic, a constant companion pointing out every flaw, every mistake, every single thing that is spoiled. We all know this voice. We've all felt it sting. And most of us have spent a lifetime trying to ignore it, argue with it, or numb it. But what if I told you that this voice isn't your enemy? What if the instinct to correct, this drive to spot out the flaw, isn't a curse, but a compass? What if it's a sacred, divine energy gifted to us to help us build a more beautiful world and become more beautiful souls? Today, I want to talk about the art of connection. Not the harsh, judgmental kind, but the vital, life-giving process of refinement. And we're going to use a map, a framework, to understand it. Some of you may have heard of human design. If you haven't, don't worry. Think of it as simply as a language. A sophisticated language that describes the flow of energy in a human being. It's not a box you put in. It's not a box to put you in, but a toolbox to help you understand your own inner workings. Within this language, there are 64 core energies or gates. And today, we are going to fall in love with just one of them. Gate 18, the gate of correction. I know, it doesn't sound very lovable, does it? It doesn't sound like your high school, it sounds like your high school English teacher, red pen in hand. But I promise you, by the end of our time together, you will see the energy for what it truly is, an instrument of profound love and healing. Gate 18 lives in what the human design system calls the awareness center, a place of intuition and well-being. Its job is simply to instinctively recognize what is out of alignment in a pattern. It has a keen eye for spotting flaws, imbalances, and weaknesses. Its purpose is not to tear down, but to refine and heal. The ancient Chinese I Ching, the source of some of our knowing of these gates, calls this energy, quote, work on what has been spoiled. It's the energy that sees a crack in the foundation and says, we should fix that before the house falls down. It's the energy that sees a flaw in a social system and says, this is unjust. It can be better. It is a vigilant, determined energy that wants to uphold and defend what is right by course correcting what is wrong. Now, we all have access to this energy, but for some, this is consistent, powerful theme in their life. The intensity is high. The frequency is constant. The most important variable, the one we have control over the most, is quality. Quality of this energy can exist on a spectrum. At its lowest, it's a destructive shadow. At its highest, it's a reflection of divinity itself. Let's start in the shadows, because that's where most of us have met this energy. The shadow of gate 18 is judgment. This is the voice of the inner critic, weaponized. It's the fault-finding that has no solution. It's the endless loop of not good enough. Outwardly, it's the person who nitpicks their partner to death, who complains about the system but never offers a solution, who can walk into a beautiful room and only see scuff marks on the floor. It's the energy that G.K. Chesterton wisely observed when he said, The reformer is always right about what is wrong. He is generally wrong about what is right. In its shadow, gate 18 knows what's wrong, but it has lost its connection to what is right, what is possible, what is good. Inwardly, this shadow is even more brutal. It's the voice of shame, the voice of compares and despairs. It's a fear-based energy rooted in a deep primal fear of being judged by authority, of not being perfect. So, we either turn that judgment on others to feel superior, or we turn it on ourselves and crumble under the weight of our own perceived inadequacy. The shadow of judgment is the counterfeit of divine impulse. It's the adversary's mimicry of God-given desire for growth. It paralyzes us. It tells us we're broken. But I love what the poet Rumi said. He said, quote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." That shadow, that feeling of being broken, is the very place the transformation begins. It's the doorway to the gift of this gate. And the gift of gate 18 is integrity. Integrity is so much more than honesty. It means wholeness. It means alignment. It's where the drive to correct is fueled by love and vision of a better way. When you move from the shadow of judgment to the gift of integrity, your entire world changes. You still see the crooked picture on the wall, but now, instead of just pointing it out with annoyance, you feel a gentle impulse to walk over and straighten it, bringing a small pocket of chaos into order. You still notice the flaw in your partner's plan, but instead of saying, "That'll never work," you say, "I love what you're trying to do. I have one thought that might make it even stronger. Can I share it?" This is the key. Gate 18 is what human design calls a projected energy. Its wisdom is best received when it is invited. The person living in integrity understands this. They learn to wait for the right timing. They honor the agency and the journey of others. They hold their corrections with an open hand, offering them as a gift, not wielding them as a weapon. Integrity begins with ourselves. It's about turning that critical eye inward, but with compassion. It's about having courage to work on our own spoiled parts. It's about becoming a living example of the very improvements we wish to see in the world. As Aristotle taught, excellence is not an act, but a habit. We become just by doing just acts. Again, we become just by doing just acts. Temperate by doing temperate acts. We build our integrity one small corrected action at a time. Think of the Japanese art of kintsugi. When a piece of pottery breaks, they don't throw it away. They meticulously mend the cracks with lacquer mixed with powdered gold. The breaks aren't hidden, they are illuminated. The piece becomes more beautiful, more valuable, and stronger than it was before. The scars become the design. This is the gift of integrity. It doesn't pretend the cracks don't exist. It sees the brokenness in ourselves, in our relationships, in our worlds, and it lovingly, patiently fills them with gold. It has the courage to address the flaw and the grace to do it beautifully. Let me share a poem to capture the journey from brokenness to beauty. We'll call it The Golden Seam. The critic's eye, a flawless lens, sees every crack where beauty ends. It traces faults with chilling dread, a voice of should have in my head. It sees a world of spoiled design, this broken, fractured heart of mine, and whispers, "You are less than whole." a heavy judgment on the soul. But grace arrives as softer art that does not hide the broken part. It gathers gold, a liquid sun, and traces where the cracks have run. It does not claim the break is gone, but honors it till break of dawn. And what was shame, a map of scars, now shines and sings among the stars. For this is love's most true repair, to see the flaw and still take care, to mend with gold a sacred stream, and find the beauty in the seam. This is the work of integrity. It's the work of a lifetime. It's not just a nice idea. It's the engine of all human progress. The scientific method is the system of integrity, testing, finding flaws in our theories, and correcting them to get closer to truth. Social reform is the work of integrity. Courageous souls pointing out the cracks in our collective humanity and demanding we fill them with gold of justice and compassion. Our own personal growth is the art of kintsugi. We are all broken pottery. We all have cracks. And we are all being invited to participate in our own mending. Now, you might be thinking, this talk is very, very incredibly structured, very precise, almost corrective. And you'd be right. Because the most honest way for me to speak about this energy is to embody it, to show you, not just to tell you, to build a case for this beautiful gate with as much integrity and order as I can. This talk is my attempt to straighten a picture, the often misunderstood picture of what it means to improve, or to repent, or to refine, to offer correction with love, to the idea of our inner critic being our enemy. It is not an enemy, it's a guide, waiting to be aligned with a higher purpose. Well, and that brings us to the highest expression of this energy. If the shadow is judgment and the gift is integrity, the highest expression, the divine radiance of this gate is, well, perfection. Now, hold on. I'm not talking about neurotic, anxiety-ridden perfection that says, I can never make a mistake. That's the shadow of judgment in a fancy tuxedo. The highest expression of perfection is a transcendent state. It's the realization that underlying the apparent flaws and brokenness, there is an inherent divine perfection to this whole pattern. It's a paradox. You spend your life in the gift of integrity, lovingly mending the cracks, only to arrive at a place where you see that cracks themselves were a perfect part of the design. You see that every mistake, every detour, every painful lesson was leading you exactly where you needed to go. The great artist Michelangelo looked on a block of marble and said, I saw an angel in the marble and carved until I set him free. Well, this is how God sees us. He doesn't see a flawed, hopeless block of stone. He sees the angel inside, and the experience of life, the corrections, the chastening, these are the chipping and the carving and the polishing that set the angel free. C.S. Lewis put it this way, and it's one of the most powerful metaphors of this process I've ever encountered. He said, imagine yourself as a living house. God comes in to rebuild the house. At first, perhaps, you can understand what he is doing. He is getting the drains right and stopping the leaks. But presently, he starts knocking the house about in a way that hurts abominably. What on earth is he up to? The explanation is that he is building quite a different house from the one you thought of. You thought you were being made into a decent little cottage, but he is building a palace. He intends to come and live in it himself. This is the ultimate correction. It's a call from our divine parentage to stop settling for being a decent little cottage. Our discontent with our own imperfections is not a sign that we are failing. It is the echo of divine memory of a place we were designed to be. It is the echo of a divine memory of the palace we were designed to be. It is a homesickness for our potential. The life of Jesus Christ is the ultimate archetype for this principle. Here was a being who embodied this perfection. He could see the flaw, the sin, the sickness, the hypocrisy with perfect clarity. But his correction was never condemnation. It was always invitation. To the woman caught in adultery, he didn't offer a lecture. He offered a new beginning. Go and sin no more. He saw the angel in her, not the mistake. He saw the palace, not the leaking roof. He held the perfect balance of justice and mercy, of truth and love. He judged righteously, which meant he judged with the goal of healing, of restoring, of making whole. To be made perfect in him is not to become a flawless robot. It is to be so filled with his love that, like a kintsugi bowl, our own broken parts become conduits for light, that golden grace. It is to finally see ourselves and every other person the way he sees us, as beloved children in the messy, glorious, perfect process of becoming. So, what do we do with this? How do we take this home? Well, I invite you to start a new conversation with that voice inside of you. When it points out a flaw, don't fight it. Pause. Thank it for its vigilance, and then ask it a new question. How can we, you and I, fill this crack with gold? If it's a flaw in yourself, seek not for self-flagellation, but for one small, compassionate step towards integrity. If it's a flaw you see in another, ask for wisdom to know if it's yours to mention, and for the charity to do so in a way that heals, not hurts. Remember the divine pattern. Correct when moved by a higher light, and show an increase of love. If you find yourself overwhelmed by all that is spoiled in the world, remember the wisdom of the masters. You are not meant to fix everything. You are here to work on the piece of the masterpiece that is right in front of you. Your family, your community, your own heart. The impulse to correct is a holy thing. It is the energy of evolution. It is the desire for a better world. It is the whisper of God in our souls, reminding us that angels trapped in the marble all around us and within us. Let us be courageous enough to pick up a chisel. Let us be humble enough to be the marble. And let us have faith to believe in the beautiful, loving, and ultimately perfect work of the master sculptor.